What do you do when life just starts life? Because today was one of those days for me. It's like the weight of the world, being a husband, being a father, being a man, especially a black man. And it's just like, man, you just kind of feel defeated. And that's been what today has been for me. Like, I wasn't even going to record this podcast. However, I had to remind myself that there's goals and there's dreams that I want to follow. And consistency is key. So regardless of how I felt today, how the excuses that I've made all day on why this wasn't going to get done, I literally just kind of picked myself up, and now here I am. And that's not to say that you're not gonna have days where you literally just want to lay down, but I had to muster through today because what I didn't want to do is to repeat the cycle that I've been doing for years. Anytime things got a little hard, I threw in a towel, I just procrastinated. I made excuses. Like today, I wasn't gonna make an excuse because there's a pimple on my face, and I have on a little band-aid or whatever you want to call it, those pimple patches. And that was my excuse for the day. It's like, hey, look, I'm not recording today. I'm not perfect. My face isn't the clearest. I don't look as good as I want to look, so I'm just not gonna do it. And it's easy to get caught up in that cycle, and I'm guilty of that. So instead of falling back into that cycle, I remembered that cycle. I remembered how far I haven't come because of that cycle. So I picked myself up and got the equipment on, and here we are. So it's easy to just feel defeated. You know what I mean? But there is no plan B. If you have goals, you have dreams and things that you want to accomplish, there are going to be days where you have to literally suck it up. You're going to have to suck it up and go with it. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself like me, looking back, being like, hey, man, you were supposed to do this 5 years ago. And that's just the God honest truth. That's my truth. The lack of consistency, the lack of discipline more than anything has gotten me to a point where now I'm looking like, man, had I done it 5 years ago, I would be so much further ahead. And I'm not dwelling on that because I've accepted the accountability and realized that there was no one to blame, and there is no one to blame but myself. But now that we know that I know that, it is my job to continue to stay disciplined and to be that person that I've always dreamed of and moving forward. So the excuses are gone. And again, I didn't feel like doing this today. I had the kids today, and that's just a part of it. That's what comes with this. Life isn't going to be easy. There are going to be times where you literally have to just suck it up and go with the flow, because the kids have to eat today. They require attention, and you have to do it. There's no way around it unless you have a nanny. You're fortunate enough to have help. My wife worked today, so it was on me. The household was on me, cleaning, cooking, and don't get it twisted. I enjoy every bit of it. It's just it is a part of it. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of little people and a spouse. And it's easy to fall into this place of content. And I had to tell myself today, hey, look, either you're going to be content and be okay with the way things are for you, or you're going to go ahead, record this podcast and get things going, regardless of the fact that there's a pimple on my face. Because again, we're not chasing perfection. And I think that's what discourages people sometimes, is we get to a point that literally, perfection becomes the thing that keeps us from getting started and keeps us from moving forward. And in my case today, that's what it was. I literally have been fighting this little blemish on my face for the better of a week now. And I told myself, oh, well, when it's recording day, it should be gone. It ain't gone. You hear me? It ain't gone. And then I made the excuse that it wasn't going to get done today. But then I remember my goals and my dreams aren't going to be perfect. The path to those goals and to those dreams aren't going to be perfect. You know? Like, do it anyway. Do it when you don't feel like doing it. Because you don't be like me and have to look back 5 years and be like, man, I'll be so much far ahead had I just done it then. You know what I mean? So that's something to keep in mind when life just be lifing. Sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. Sometimes you just have to adjust. Sometimes you have to pivot in the moment in that day to get things done. You know? Like, I skipped all of last week with my workout. And now I feel horrible. But there's no one to blame but me. No one stopped me but me. You know what I mean? So I got back on it today. And I got me a quick workout in. And I think that was another reason why I didn't want to do the podcast. Like, oh, well, I worked out, so yay me. Give me a cookie. Nah. The goals and the dreams are yours. So you are responsible for making sure they come true. It's not about anybody else. Nobody else can make this thing happen but you. So remember that the next time you're like, oh, well, I don't feel like it today. Remember, nobody coming to save you. Nobody's coming to drag you along and hand you, you know, your dreams and your gifts. I mean, your goals on a silver platter. Because you didn't feel like it today. You hear me? Like, what I'm about to do in these next, 6 months, I'm about to put that work in because I got goals that I'm trying to accomplish. I got things to check off my list, you know? So what do you do when life literally just start lifing and like you just feel like, you know what, it's just too much? You keep going. That's what you do. You keep going. You get you some rest, but you keep going. You talk to somebody, but you keep going. You know what I mean? The one thing you can't do is quit and give up. Because if you like me, I've quit and given up a lot. Over the years, I've threw in a towel so much that looking back is really like, dang, bruh. Like, you just stayed the course, you know? But we can't dwell on the past. So what am I doing now is like I'm holding myself accountable. You know, I got my journal. I got everything that I need to be successful. There's nothing, and I'm speaking for me. You have to, you know, when you have the resources, you have to utilize all your resources. Sometimes we think we need more equipment. We think we need more money. Don't get me wrong. All of those things are helpful. You know, sometimes we think we need a better setup, a better camera with better quality. And if we're being honest and the God honest truth, man, you just need discipline. You need consistency. You need to put forth the effort. You need to learn how to utilize what you already have to your advantage. And I think that's what we do. You know, for a long time, I thought I needed all of this other stuff. Like I needed all of the fanciest and nicest equipment. And in reality, I just needed to press record. In reality, I needed to just upload the content. There was nothing more that I needed. And like, even now, looking at it now, the past few nights, I'm just laying in bed and I'm like, man, you know, how can I utilize all of the tools and the equipment that I have now, the resources that I have now to my advantage in pursuing, you know, pursuing these dreams. I don't need no more equipment. I don't need, a life coach. I don't need any of that. It's on me. And you probably in the same position. It's on you. You don't need nothing extra. You don't need all of the life advice, even though that's what I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to buy a course. You have, I guarantee you probably have everything you need to at least get started on your pursuit. But we get so caught up into social media and seeing other people and what they got going on, how they maneuvering, and how nice and elegant their content looks and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how so many of those people, those content creators, they have editors. They record the content and send it off so they can get all of the fancy sound effects and all of the fancy rollouts and the B-roll and stuff like that. A lot of that, they have people, they've hired people. So you can't compare yourself to something you don't understand and you don't see, because you got to remember, on social media, people are only showing you what they want you to see. They're only telling you what they want you to know. Utilize what you have, man. And when it comes to like life just throwing you curveball after curveball, man, swing anyway. Swing anyway. When it comes to home life and trying to manage that, like, you got it. You got it. You got the tools. If you single, listen, you just got to take care of you. Make sure you plan out your meals. That way that's something you don't have to worry about during the week. You know what I'm saying? Meal prep. Eat leftovers. Keep the guessing of your week when it comes to your food to a minimum. Something you don't have to worry about. When it comes to, working out, set your schedule, at minimum 3 times a week. You got it. Trust me. If you married and you balancing being a spouse and you balancing being, parent, and at the same time trying to hold on to your own identity, you got it. Trust me, you got it. You're going to be all right. The key to it all is planning and scheduling. Communicating with your significant other to be like, hey, look, this is a plan. Sometimes as men, we wait on our wives to like put a schedule or a plan together for the week. How about you do it? You do it based on your needs and what you need, and you present that and be like, hey, this is the schedule I would like to follow for the week. Is there anything in here you would like to change? Because what happens is we literally sometimes just wing it so much to where it knocks us off of a routine, and it keeps us in a place of just feeling lost and like unaccomplished, like you haven't gotten anything done. That's because there's no structure in your life. And I'm talking to myself as well. Like, when you start to add structure, like, hey, like, drop the kids off, work out, whatever that structure looks like for you, when you put that together, you start to follow that, you be better off, man. Cause life gonna life regardless. Ain't nothing you can do about it. A hiccup gonna come. The curveball is gonna come. And the only thing you either gonna stand in that batter's box and get struck out, or you gonna start swinging. And I'd rather get struck out swinging than just standing. That's just me though. And you should remember that, because at the end of the day, life goes on and life's going to continue. So you have to ask yourself, and you have to remind yourself, like, do I just throw in a towel, just go with the flow for the rest of my life because things are complicated, because the world is tough, the economy is hard, but job isn't the best job. I'm juggling being a parent and juggling being a spouse. Like, so that's it. You just gonna quit. You just gonna give up. You just gonna lay down and just take it. Like, you gonna take the beating, or you gonna fight back. And that's my goal, and that's my message to you, is to fight back, man. Life gonna life. It's gonna happen regardless. You may as well get what you want to get out of it, instead of just laying dormant and accepting what life gives to you and not doing anything about it. Because at the end of the day, we all haven't been dealt the same hand when it comes to life. Some people have been dealt a far better hand, and that's okay. Some of us have been dealt hands that we've been playing our whole life, and we've been playing pretty much from behind. But again, are you going to fight back? Are you going to continue to play their hand and continue to play? Or are you just going to give up and be like, hey, you know what? Until I close my eyes forever, I'm just going to deal with it how it is. I'm not saying get out here and jump into toxic hustle culture, nothing like that. What I'm saying is to try to set yourself up for better. The things you want to accomplish, the things that you dream of, the life you envision for yourself, whether it's, business, school, that job you always wanted, your own business, your own entrepreneurial journey, your fitness goals. Why not set yourself up for those things? You know what I mean? Like, I'm guilty of procrastinating on my fitness journey, right? And I always see myself with a better body, and being more in shape and being more toned and things like that. But I've been in my way. There's been no discipline. And I don't want to go out like no sucker. I don't want to go out like no chump. You hear me? I want the best for me. I want to be my own body goals. I want to be happy with the person that I want to become. And don't get it twisted. I'm happy with who I am. But there's so much more, and there's so much better that I can be. It's like, why not go for that? Why not chase that? You know what I mean? So be mindful of that. Like, life gonna happen. What you gonna do about it? Stand in there, complain, make excuses. Don't do that. And now I'm not saying not to feel some type of way about it. You can. Just don't dwell in it. Don't stay there. Pick yourself up. Start to make a plan and move forward. And you're gonna get knocked down more than once. You're gonna get knocked down more than once, because the thing about it is, we don't know. None of us know, for the most part, when we gonna check out. When a man upstairs gonna be like, it's time to go. You know what I mean? None of us know that. So what you gonna do? You gonna just wait for that time and just be like, okay, I'm just waiting, and then life just passing you by? Or you gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna just do what I can. I'm gonna try to make what I have work to my advantage. The perfect example is people that want to go back to school. I've seen it so many times of people that wanted to go back to school, but they were they were in their late 20s, or they mid to late 20s. You know what I mean? And you graduate high school, you're 17, 18 years old, you're out of school about 21, 22, but you have people that's 25, 26, and it's like they feel some type of way, because it's like, man, like, that's 4 years of school. Like, you 26 and you sitting there and you thinking like, I want to go back to school, but oh man, I'm gonna be so old. Man, 30 ain't old. Your 30s is not old. But people have told themselves like, man, I don't want to be that old just finishing college. Guess what? The time gonna pass by anyway, so you may as well just go ahead and do what you want to do. That time gonna go anyway. So that's the same thing with life, as it continues to throw those curveballs, man. It's gonna go by regardless. So why not start now working on the things that you want? Why are you waiting until the new year? And again, I'm guilty of this. So why are you waiting on the new year? Why are you waiting until, the top of the month, to the first, to start your goals, to start your body goals, to start meal prepping, start eating clean? Why not start now? What are you waiting on? That's another thing. We we literally get to a point of thinking that we have so much time left, and we don't. We don't. Because none of us know when we're gonna check out and go. Stop thinking you have all of this time, and you do, but stop thinking like, oh man, I can just wait 2 years before I decide if I want to go back to school. I'm gonna give it a year. I'm gonna just wait till January 1st before I start working out. Why? Why not start now? Don't be like that. Don't be like me. You hear me? Don't put off today. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Don't do it, because you're gonna look up like me and look back on 5 years and be like, I could have been where I wanted to be had I stayed disciplined, stayed consistent. So listen, when life get the life in, keep going. Keep going. So it's been another episode of a Quick Little Word Podcast. It's your boy Chris Wright. I appreciate you for tuning in and checking out with your boy. Be sure to check the description for all of the links, the merch, Fations.com. Get you a blessed but still a mess hoodie, sweatshirt, or something from the website. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out my book. The podcast audio will also be linked. And be sure to follow me, like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness.